Today, we're going to talk about the top 5 problems OBS Chevys have. Okay, first thing we're going to talk about is the wiper motor board. And it's underneath this cover right here. Now, this one, I'm happy to say, works perfectly. But those are the main things that go out on these because they weren't designed very good apparently in the beginning, and they can be problematic. Now, if you're stuck out in the middle of nowhere, and I've actually seen this happen, I've had friends that's had these trucks in the past. This is my first one on this, but I've worked on a lot of these trucks for friends just for fun. And if it's messing up, you can give it a tap with a screwdriver and you can give them to work to get home. But just know that as soon as it gets where they only work on one speed, or it intermittently starts not working or stopping and you got to tap on it with a screwdriver, it's time to replace that board. And it's just a simple matter of taking that screw out, pull that cover, and then replacing that board. Now, they run probably somewhere around $100, and it's just a plug and play. I mean, this is old technology, but if the motor seems strong, I would suggest leaving the motor alone. But if it seems like it just doesn't have the oomph it used to, then go ahead and replace the motor too. But yeah, circuit board on your windshield wipers. Number 2, your intake manifold gaskets. Now again, I'm lucky on this truck because it's just been aces, but over time, hot and cold, hot and cold, hot and cold, the gaskets do get brittled up. We've all seen it, them 350 Chevys, small block Chevys, big block Chevys, big block Ford, small block Ford, whatever. Them gaskets are in, but the head to manifold gaskets are in there long enough, they get brittle, they start cracking, they start not sealing well, and the next thing you know, you got coolant leaks between your crossovers, front and back, on your intake manifolds. This goes for anything that you're driving. The older it gets, the more apt you are to get a leak in your coolant between your manifold and your head. If it comes with centralized style thermostat housing like this, water in, water out the bottom through the water pump into the block and out through the top. So if you got that kind of flow, you need to pay attention. And that's just by checking oil. If you get a little foaminess on oil, which we all know what that looks like, there's either one of two things. You either got a blown head gasket, or you have a leak, and it's leaking on the bottom of that spot where it bolts to the head into the lifter valley down in the oil pan. So number 2, intake manifold gaskets. Number 3, outside, inside door handles and hinges. Outside, inside door hinges. Now, I'm lucky if I need to replace it right now because I haven't ordered my door panels yet, but they're very, because these break all the time. They're not designed well, okay? They're just not. They don't last long. I've replaced these on the inside of this one are okay. But sooner or later, they're going to break too because they're just not made hardy enough to last, okay? And there's big business in replacement parts for these, and so they make a lot of money selling aftermarket parts for this stuff. And the other one is, I've been lucky enough that the hinges, the pins and bearings on this one have already been replaced, so the doors hang great, they open and shut great. But that's the 3 things: outside handles, inside handles, and check the bearings on your hinge pins. And, well, hell, I'll show you. Okay, there is the bushing. There, get a little closer in here, see if make sure. There is the bushing. So These bushings, I can guarantee, have already been replaced. See how nice and solid they are? They're not broke out now. On a busted bushing, you'll be able to move that in that hole, and there'll just be bits and pieces of it in there. And on the bottom, well, that's the top bushing right there. And here, that's the bottom bushing. Let me get a little close as I can in here. Now, I can guarantee you these have already been replaced. These are not originals. All right, but if you see them busted, mushroomed out, missing, that's extra work you're going to have to do. And I'm going to warn you right now. Where's that spring? There's a spring. See that spring right there? That takes a special tool. That is a bitch to get out if you don't have the right tool. Okay? I'm just warning you. That one right there, that is no fun to change, to pull. Done it before, not fun. So yeah, check the bushings in the door pins, please. Number four. Number four. Since we're here, got this door open. It's the steering column. This is one of the most common problems with an OBS, with anything with a tilt from the 90s. This is one of the most common problems with these older trucks, is that tilt. It just, again, not a good design. GM didn't put good Loctite on the nuts and the connectors that's in there, and they're a pain to get to. I gotta admit, I don't want to do it because it takes special tools to get in there and get to it, and I don't want to borrow them, beg them, lose them, break them. So I can almost guarantee you that I'm going to take this to which you've heard me talk about before, my best friend Wendell, and he's got all the specialty tools to do these, and he's got the experience with these, being a mechanic over the last 30 plus years. I don't want to say how old he is, but he's probably getting that job because I just don't want to do it. I'm getting that age where there's just some things I don't want to mess with, and that steering column is one of them. Okay, but that is number 4 on the list of you're going to have problems with OBS. Number 5 is fuel pump. Now, I haven't changed the fuel filter on this yet, but I'm going to. I'll probably make a little video on how to do that. But let me tell you a story about fuel pumps. I had bought a 92 Formula Firebird for my daughter for her first car. Yeah, I know, Formula Firebird for her first car. But I mean, it was a smoking deal, same thing. On this, I mean, I couldn't be happier with the car. But it developed a fuel pump problem. And if any of you guys know about them 82 to 92 Camaros and Firebirds, is that you got to cut the exhaust and drop the tank out the backside to get to the fuel pump. And it's a complete pain, right? I went through 6 or 7 Chinese fuel pumps within months from O'Reilly's that just died ugly deaths. Driving to school, boom, dead. Driving out of the parking lot, boom, dead. That trailer was on the truck constantly on that car for months. And finally I just said, F it. And I got a AC Delco genuine GM replacement part. Never had a problem with it again. So, lesson learned. Guys, if you have to drop that tank back there, which is a complete pain in the ass, if you have to drop that tank and put it in a new fuel pump, don't go on Amazon. Don't go to O'Reilly's and cheap out. Spend the extra bucks to get a genuine replacement GM part. That fuel pump's been in there 28 years probably. That's probably the original pump. Okay? I'd almost bet it is. When it goes out, I'm only going to change it once. And it's going to go in. I'm going to spend extra bucks for a genuine replacement part. factory parts last longer than fake, knockoff, cheapy Amazon parts. I'm just saying. Here endeth the lesson. Okay, I'm going to give you an extra. This is number 6. And this isn't something I went through with this one either, but I've went through with other friends in the past. And that's going to be your brake sensors and your anti-lock system here. Anti-lock system. Okay, it really, it's the anti-lock system. It really is a dynamite system. Now, again, it's old school, but when they're working, they work really well. Okay, but every once in a while, you'll get that ABS signal in the back. You're going to get some pulsation. You're going to get it. It's just not going to be working right. And I'm just going to say 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the sensors down there on the calipers, by the calipers. It's going to be the sensors. It hardly ever is this unit. It's something on the outside of the unit. A ground's off. It needs to be bled, something. But I honestly don't remember any of those ever going out. So if you have a problem with it, it's probably going to be a sensor, a ground, something's going to rub up against something, a leak somewhere. It's just generally not going to be that unit. It's going to be something else on the outside of it. Well, there you go. There's some things you can look at for 5 or 6 things that just generally go wrong with these things over time. Because, they're getting up there. Some of them are 30 plus years old, and this one's 28 and or 29 now, since it's over the first year. It's 29 years old. Still a solid, good old truck. But there are some things you're going to need to pay attention to, and there's some tips and tricks in there. So if you're still here, you're one of those. Like, share, and subscribe. You'll have a great day. Because a great day today could be even better day tomorrow. Y'all be good.